So in section 6.5, we're factoring special binomials. In this example, we'll be looking at the sum or differences of two cubes. Now, what we have to do is we have to recognize that we're in that situation, and then we're going to use a thing called SOAP. Okay, so let's play with that a little bit. Here's the example. X cubed plus 27. Well, I want to recognize that we have a perfect cube. Well, let's see. X cubed equals, well, x times x times x. That's perfect cube. And 27, think about that for a couple of seconds. You're going to figure out that that's 3 times 3 times 3. A perfect cube. All right, so what we do is we take this x cubed plus 27, and if you want to write it so that you can really see that 3 in that second term, okay, we take that x and the 3, and we're going to factor. All right, here's how we do it. I'm going to put x, and there's going to be some sign there with the 3. So I take the cube root of the first, the cube root of the second, and then there's going to be another, this time it's going to be a trinomial. It's going to have that with some sign here, and we're going to be multiplying the two basic terms together, that is the 3 and the x together, with another sign, and then we're finally going to take that last term and square it. Okay, this is where SOAP comes in. What's the sign here? Well, it turns out that's going to be the same sign. So this particular sign, since the original sign was plus, I'm going to put a plus right there. The second one, I'm going to use the opposite sign. Okay. The opposite sign in this case would be a negative. And then for the rest of it, always positive. Always positive. Put it in there. Okay, here it is. Here's my SOAP. So if you have the sum of two cubes to factor, just remember SOAP. You take the cube root of the first term, cube root of the second term, as the binomial first factor, and plug the same sign. And then we have the first term squared, opposite sign, the two terms multiplied together, always positive, and then the second term squared. Let's work a more complicated example here. Clear out some of my space for it. So remember, you want to recognize that you're in the situation of having adding or subtracting perfect cubes, and then you want to apply SOAP. All right, here's the example. 24x cubed minus 81y cubed. Wow, that's a little bit more complicated than the last example, but you know, it's going to work the same way here. First thing that we do is always the first rule. See if there's anything in common between them. Simplify if you can. So in this particular case, if I take a 3, what's left over is 8x cubed on the first, and then minus 27y cubed on the second term. And I want you to notice that the first term is a perfect cube. That is 2x cubed. I want you to notice that the second term is also a perfect cube. 3y cubed. So we really have the difference of two perfect cubes here with the 3 outside. Okay, well, we have the difference of two cubes. We've recognized that, so we're going to apply SOAP. Here we go. Always put the 3 out front, of course. And then what do? Let's see. I take the 2x and the 3y. So I have a 2x and a 3y. And what's the sign that I put in the middle? Well, let's see. SOAP. Same sign, so that goes as a negative. I take the first term, that basic term, and square it. What do I put in for the sign now? Well, let's see. It's going to be SO opposite, so it's going to be a plus. And then I take the 2x and the 3y and multiply together. Okay. Next, the sign is always positive, and I take my next term, 3y, and square it. And that should finish everything up. Okay, see how I did that? Here's the S, Here's the O. Here's the AP. Now all I have to do is simplify. First term is pretty simple. Second term, I'm just going to do the exponentiation there, 4x squared. Combine those two terms there to get 6xy, and then finally plus 9y squared. Okay, so we've been able to factor the two cubes, two perfect cubes, difference of two perfect cubes, because first we recognized that we had that situation, and then we apply SOAP. And always, always, always don't forget that first step to factor out that 3 at the very beginning. Look for common factors at the very beginning, because that makes life a lot simpler for you.